All right.
Ready to roll?
Go for it.
Welcome back to Dads, Deals, and Dumbbells, the podcast, where dad life meets business hustle and barbells.
We're two dads, one chiropractor, one lawyer, juggling office drop-offs, school drop-offs, squat racks, and spreadsheets without losing our insanity.
If your mornings start off with cold coffee, chaos, today's episode is for you. We're diving into morning routines, ones that work, ones that don't, and ones that completely fall apart.
So let's get into it.
All right, so Mitch, you've got 3 small children. I think our morning routines may be a little bit different, but tell me how yours started today.
Today, we've met up at the gym a couple times, like 5 a.m., so they're different but pretty similar. So this morning, one kid peed in the bed. The other ones wake up a little bit after him and then start waking up mom. And then typically it's just a crazy shit show.
Well, sounds like we're qualified to give advice. Now, I know you just got back from vacation. I haven't got to hear about it at all yet. I know part of it was a cruise, right?
Yep.
3 small children on a boat.
No one jumped overboard, so that was good.
We did a couple cruises with our kids when they were little, and I actually found it to be a really good thing to do.
Yeah, we love it. My parents will not get on a boat. My dad's afraid of the water, even though they live on a lake.
He won't get on any boat?
He won't. No, he'll do like a small pontoon boat. We do a boat club thing up in Lake Geneva. So he'll get on a boat. He just won't do a massive cruise boat in the middle of the ocean without land.
He likes to be the captain.
He likes to be the captain. Yeah, it's just funny. But no, it's great for our kids and their family because they can do the childcare on the boat while we can go out and do dinner, do a show, kind of do our date night. We did a quick 3-night cruise. So it was fun where the kids just, like, it was 2 ports. We didn't even get off the boat, honestly.
Yeah. And
kids just played in the splash pad all day. My son got to take a nap right on the pool deck. You could see Atlantis in the background with all the crystal blue water. And I was like, that's a pretty good place to take a nap. So after he fell asleep, I joined him for about an hour, and it was great.
It's one of those things where if you haven't done it with small children, my initial thought, my wife suggested that was a terrible idea. That we were going to be, I don't know, there's going to be some kind of chaos, and we were going to be stuck on a boat with small children. But it actually, they did a great job. And we were, I think, on either Royal Caribbean or a Carnival cruise. We were just really impressed by how easy it was with the kids.
Yeah, Royal does a great job. There's always something for them to do. So we loved it. The only hiccup was on the flight out there. An old lady was not too happy with my 2-year-old son for being a 2-year-old boy. So we got in a bit of a verbal disagreement on that.
That is probably its own show in of itself, traveling with small children in confined spaces.
It'd
be a reality series.
That should be that'd be like a Modern Family show for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was not happy. It took everything in me not to be very mean, but we made it through.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yep.
That's tough. Well, congratulations on surviving and coming back from vacation, hopefully rested and ready to go.
Thanks. A little rested.
Could always use more.
Yes.
So let's jump into the dad hack of the week. This one is one that some parents do. I think a lot of parents think about doing and then they forget about doing it, but it really does solve a little bit of the morning chaos, and that is lay out your kids' clothes in advance. And if you want to go that extra step, pack their lunch to get them ready for school so that you have 2 less things to do in the morning. And you don't have to worry about the kid going to school looking like a small homeless person.
Yeah. I should probably do that a little more often.
I mean, I will say every day, I'm kind of past that point now with an 11-year-old and a 16-year-old. I couldn't tell the 16-year-old what to wear if I wanted to.
Nope.
And the 11-year-old, every morning when he comes down, he seems to be appropriately dressed for the weather. It's either he's got shorts and T-shirt on and it's way too cold outside, or he's got long pants on and a sweatshirt and it's going to be 85 degrees. Never has shoes or socks on, though. Never socks in the house. As soon as he comes in, socks come off.
There you go.
Strangest thing. But that little bit of planning the night before can solve a few issues.
Smart move.
The coffee one, though.
I cheat and just do cold brew.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
So
I do cold brew.
Now we have a Keurig, so it's just 30 seconds. You pop it in and it goes. But when we used to have a normal coffee pot, I would set the timer. And so when I would come down, the pot would be full, it'd be ready to go.
My dad does the same thing anytime. Like, I remember when I was a kid, same thing. Every morning you hear like something click on at like 6 a.m. and their whole house will smell like coffee. So he still does that.
Yeah, it's part of the morning routine.
Yeah.
And as we're going to talk about here in a minute, especially for you and I, because ours starts really early, that little bit of time saving can really be helpful.
Extra couple minutes of sleep.
Yeah.
Definitely. Set the coffee beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
Or cheat and do cold brew.
Or cheat and do cold brew.
Yep.
100%.
That's a better option. Has more caffeine too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Doesn't denature
Is that what the good doctor recommends?
the heat doesn't denature the protein. The caffeine.
The what?
The heat doesn't denature like the protein molecule of the caffeine. the
Act
actual
like
molecule.
I'm a lawyer and I don't have a clue what the hell you just said.
So like enzymes and like proteins and stuff will break down, like that's why you cook food, right? It
Okay.
breaks down organisms. So when you heat the superheated coffee,
Yeah.
like boiling, right? 212, that'll denature the protein or like the molecule of caffeine. So it's more caffeine. Like that's why like a blonde roast
Okay.
has more caffeine than a dark roast.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
See that? You learn
Yeah.
new things every day.
There you go. Blonde roast, it's not roasted as much. There's not as much heat to break down.
So if you want the
caffeine.
caffeine boost, blonde roast,
No, you want
cold
caffeine
brew?
boost, you do cold brew
cold brew.
because it's got more caffeine.
Okay.
Then you do blonde roast.
Okay.
Then you do a dark roast.
All right. And if you're
And then
lazy
you do
you're-
caffeine, or then you do decaf. If, you want
if you're super lazy and you didn't buy the Keurig and you use Folgers instant coffee,
nothing. Go for it, yeah. It's the prison
just
pre-workout.
pour it right in your mouth.
I go to a prison pre-workout.
Uh-uh.
It's like Pepsi and instant coffee. Like I had college teammates that would do that. They
Really?
put it in. It was the dumbest thing in the world. But like when you're a broke college kid, like yeah, instant
you ever try
coffee. No, no,
That sounds terrible.
no. None of them finished it. No, not in prison.
Delicious.
Broke college is different than being in prison. So
That's fair. That's fair.
yeah. So on to the main topic of discussion with our morning routines.
Yes.
Joe, what's your typical morning routine look like?
During the week, it's almost always the same thing. I set my alarm 4:15. I can hit snooze one time. If I do it more than once, I'm going to be behind schedule. I decided probably a little over a year ago that if I was going to get a morning workout in, I had to do it before everybody was up. My daughter goes off to school at like 6:30. So, and it's important for me. I want to be there to see her off. She can make her own lunch, although I still have to make her sandwich, which I don't understand. She makes everything else, but she won't make the sandwich, and it's a ham and cheese sandwich. It's not complicated. So,
ingredients.
Natalia, if you're listening, you can make your own sandwich. But I do it, and maybe it tastes better. But in order to get home in time, I got to be up about 4:15. I'll have a cup of coffee, and then I'll head out for the workout, whether I'm going to the gym or I'm going to go outside or I'm going to work out at home. That's where it starts. Get home, get her lunch together. Once she's off, then jump in the shower, come back downstairs, get my son breakfast, have something to eat myself, and then it's off for the day.
Nice. It's probably a little bit easier too when they're a little more self-sufficient.
Oh, listen, I remember very well when my kids were little, and I never had three that were little at the same time, that pretty much all at the same time, which yours are.
It's a sensory overload for sure.
You and your wife, I think, are superheroes because I don't understand how you do it. We had a 5-year gap on purpose between our children.
We had what the closest is 16 months, and then the other one's 22 months.
Yeah.
And none of them were actually planned.
Yeah, it's weird for a doctor to not understand how that works. But
Yeah, right. Oops. But no, for my morning routine, usually it starts off with similarly. I set my alarm for 7:20. Usually I snooze it to like 7:30. Get dressed so I don't get yelled at in the bathroom, and then get dressed in the bathroom so I don't get yelled at. But for waking up my wife. But then I'm usually out the door at the gym by 5 o'clock. Get my 45 minutes to an hour of just weightlifting.
yeah,
Maybe a little bit of cardio in there too. Cardio.
you hate cardio.
Cardio. I despise cardio. Cardio for me is like a bike for 7 minutes.
And it's comical because that's mainly what I do.
Yeah. No, I can't do it. It causes a visceral reaction where I want to just puke. Just too much trauma playing sports.
Okay.
If I ever hear the words "on the line," I'm gonna like.
That was from
I'll
football,
instantly
I
just wanna-
presume.
football, basketball, track, all of it. Just
All of it.
instant want to puke. Luckily, never actually puked from workout, but I have blacked out and seen stars and like not known where I was.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was fun. But after that, conditioning was way easier. It's just weird. You gotta hit that wall,
Right.
and then you can do anything. It's great.
Right.
But and then usually I get home. Usually one of the kids is up, and then I'll have to tell them, like, hey, we try to stay in your room till the lights turn green. Hasn't worked in 5 years. I don't even know why we still try. But then
Wait. You have to stay in the.
so they have like these night lights that change color, and I have a timer on the night light to tell them when they can leave their room.
It gives me green light.
So it's a green light. So like at night, it's like a purple light that goes rainbow colors and stuff like that, and then it plays like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to help them sleep. And then at like 6:55, the light will turn green.
Really?
And then they can go. They have.
It's a cool concept.
They've never followed it. I don't even know why we still try. But then we'll say, hey, Addie, go get dressed. Wear this today. And she'll fight it every single time. I want to wear a dress. I'm like, fine. Just wear a short sleeve dress or a long sleeve dress with pants on.
Now, she's your oldest.
She's the oldest.
Does she get to pick out her own clothes?
Yeah, we let her pick it out for the most part. As long as it matches, we're good. And then I try to let Henry sleep as long as possible because then just having 2 versus 3 little kids is ideal. And Ellie typically turns into an exorcist. If we have to wake her up, it's an exorcism of Ellie every time. Like hair goes off like crazy. She's just screaming, won't do anything until I do it for her. Like I have to do it. My wife can't do it because she wants dad. It's crazy. Oof. But then I'm trying to make my lunch, my breakfast. I don't follow your hack as often, and I'm making like my lunch, the girls' lunch, breakfast all at the same time. Just because I get home late and I'm tired, but I should start doing it.
I understand.
I will say, whenever I make the lunches the night before, it's a smooth ride in the morning, and I don't know why I don't do it.
That's the thing. That it's it's one of those things. It's a hack. It'll save you some time, some effort. Doesn't necessarily mean we follow it. It's ideal.
Yeah. Everyone knows what to do. Whether or not you do it or not is the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. It's like a good reminder, but you can take that and throw it right out the window. Yeah. And sometimes you don't get a choice. Sometimes everything goes haywire.
Yeah. That when Henry did pee the bed the other day, it was threw up the whole thing. Like I had to put him in the shower, and I'm like, I need to go now. Luckily, we kind of recovered, so it was worked. Because if I don't leave the house by 7:20, I gotta drop Henry off at 7:30. Which is in that daycare, and then I got to get to the office within like 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I think one of the big benefits is trying to have an established routine. For me, it helps keep my mental sanity in place
because I think about the next thing.
Yeah, I mean, that when you get up, this is what you've got going on next. I've never been a person to completely fly by the seat of my pants with certain things. So when I work out in the morning, that's the one thing I truly do just for me. Mm-hmm. The rest of the day, I mean, there's stuff I do that's entertaining that I like and so forth. But work is not just me. Stuff at home is not just me. There's interaction with other people. Working out really is that's the one thing that I do that is just me.
Yeah.
So, and I've found that I've never regretted having to work out unless I injure myself. I mean, that's it. I mean, I've never regretted having to work out. I've regretted not working out.
For sure.
So that for me, that morning routine and getting up super early and going and getting it done has been important. And actually, as we were talking about getting ready for this episode today, one of the things I did was I checked some stats, and I brought some stats with us here today. And one of the things I saw was a stat from Forbes indicating that 92% of highly effective, highly productive people have structured morning routines. Now, that doesn't mean that because you're structured that you're highly productive, probably. But it's a common element, and part of this podcast is not just about being a dad, not just about working out, but the deal as well. And we both know that the reality of being an entrepreneur and having your own business is that it never stops. I mean, there's always something you're doing.
Yeah, same thing. We were, on Sunday night? Elle and I were literally till like 11 o'clock at night trying to figure out, all right, how can we make the office better, office layout, all the things, just trying to be more productive. That was a big deal for us. But then, with exercising in the morning, you found a pretty good stat on that one too, right? So the morning exercisers are more consistent with fitness and up to 76% more likely to maintain a workout regimen long term. And I think we've been, since my wife joined, I was reluctant since we joined Lifetime, actually having a place to go, especially in the winter, and actually working out and having a program that was done for me. We just use an app. It's great. I've been way more consistent doing that than anything else.
So tell me, what is it that you have an app that you're using through Lifetime or a separate app?
No, it's a separate app that you buy an annual membership for. It's called Ladder. And then there's like 8 different teams or tracks, so like personal trainers that just create a custom, like a program that you can follow that.
So your morning routine is in large part dictated by the app telling you what workouts you're doing for the day?
I'll say the morning workout that I do is dictated by the app. My morning routine, I kind of added on everything else. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't I know what to do. I know how to work out. I just don't want to do the thinking.
Sure.
Like on this last one there, time management, decision making what, 35,000 decisions per day on average. Yeah, I don't want to do all those. If I
Yeah.
can do one less of that, that would be great.
Yeah.
I don't want to figure out 5 or 8 different exercises.
Right. There is a nice part about taking the planning out of it. I don't have an app that tells me the workouts to do or gives me guidance on that. I'll plan them out to some degree. Again, I'm doing more cardio, so it's kind of time and whether or not it's intervals or distance or whatever. But the days where I am doing other workouts, oftentimes I'll go to one of the classes where there's an instructor who's telling you, here's what you're doing next and so forth. The nice part about that, again, is I'm not having to plan it out.
Yeah.
I'm following along. And
but you're part of like the triathlete club, right? Triathlon club?
Yes.
Do they give you like a program? Or
Yeah.
a coach
So,
that
and this will be for another one of our episodes coming up when we talk about the benefits of having a coach or a trainer.
Yeah.
Yes. When I have been structurally coached, so I've done 2 half Ironmans, and for both of those, I had a coach for I think like 9 months, and I would have daily workout routines that were pre-programmed into Training Peaks, the app. I don't know if you use that one, but literally I would wake up in the morning, I would see what my routine is, and if I'm doing 45 minutes in the pool, or if I'm going to do an hour and a half of running intervals, or whatever it is, that would be pre-programmed out, so I wouldn't have to think about it. Right now, I'm not coached, so I've got a couple triathlons that are coming up, but I'm kind of coaching myself, at least for now. I don't know. I'm starting to get on the fence as to whether or not that's a plan that's a good. Well, no, it's working. I mean, if you look at my statistics on the apps, I'm actually in really good position right now.
I saw on Strava you had the longest personal ride or longest ride or something. Max power output was on that ride.
Yeah. So
something's working.
Yeah, no, I feel good. And Training Peaks is the one that I rely on the most, and my fitness level, as they calculate it, is the highest it's ever been, even when I did the half Ironman. So I'm seeing some good stuff there. My hesitation, and we'll talk about this in a future episode, is that when I do the Chicago Triple later this summer, I have to do it fast, the first part of it fast, and I need to make sure I'm increasing my speed. I'm not entirely sure that I can coach myself through that, so I may wind up having to hire my coach back to get me through that.
Got it.
But in any case, the morning routine and having that as part of the structure, it's huge, whatever that workout looks like. And, for you and I I'll speak for myself. I was not, to the point I am now, I was not fit. And I don't know, I would say fit. I'm in pretty decent shape right now.
There's a massive spectrum on fitness.
Yeah. And let's not talk about necessarily, I'm not going to rip my shirt off because I don't want anybody to have a heart attack for good or bad reasons. But, I feel good, and I wasn't always like that. So, there may be people listening who are not physically active at all. And so the morning routine of what we do is probably not attainable for everybody. And then there are some people, there's a guy I see at Lifetime who's just a freaking beast. Large man, and the workouts that he does are just really impressive. I'm not at that level at all. But there may be people that are listening that are, on the couch all the time, rarely get up and go for a walk. Having some kind of morning routine that you're working on consistently and building on, I think is where it's at.
Yeah. And then one of the other stats you guys found, you found, which is pretty good, is just waking up at the same time. You feel more energized, more alert, reduce grogginess, sleeping with all those things. And that's from the National Sleep Society there. So the good thing with those ones is it fixes your circadian rhythms. So if your brain works on a clock, right? If at this point, I wake up before my 7:20 alarm. You might do the same thing. Especially if I get a good night's sleep. I'm waking up at like 4 o'clock now. And I'm like, oh, guess I'm up. I'm going to go work out. But your body starts to know what to expect. Same thing. Like your brain, when it's conscious, does better on a routine. You have to make less decisions. Subconsciously, with the circadian rhythms, as long as you're in rhythm, if you do the same thing similarly throughout the day, it knows what to expect. It knows when it's going to get fed. It knows when it's going to be working. And you'll just feel more energized. I'm even surprised sometimes I don't even need coffee to wake up in the morning. At this point, I just like the taste. So it's good.
I think at this point, I'm used to the routine more than anything.
Yeah. I wonder how you feel if you just subbed everything with decaf coffee and see what happens.
That's a good question. I was completely off caffeine for probably 9 months to a year, and then I started. And then I think it was COVID came along. I got back on the wagon. I got back off the wagon. I think it was off the wagon, on the wagon. Anyway, I started drinking caffeine again.
Depends on which wagon you're talking about.
Depends on which wagon you're talking about. Yeah, but one of these other statistics that I found was individuals with a morning routine are more likely to eat a healthy breakfast, which correlates with a lower BMI, better glucose regulation as well.
All good things.
Yeah. Opposed to scrambling and grabbing something not healthy or what have you. I made an omelet this morning. Tasty omelet.
Nice. I like the fried egg sandwiches. Fried egg bagel. Those are good.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Those are good. When I make one of those for my kids, or I make one, and really my kid sees it, and one of the kids wants me to make one as well. So
Yeah. I have the bougiest 5-year-old. She wants egg whites with avocado toast.
at 5,
5 years old. She's like, and if I could put any yolk in there, I'm in trouble.
you're in so much trouble.
Oh yeah, and she loves sushi, so that's great.
Sushi too.
She loves sushi.
I don't think I had sushi until I was probably in my 30s.
That was a cruise side effect.
I mean, I grew up in Southern Illinois, so
You're not getting the good sushi.
no, I think sushi down there. I don't know. I don't think we ever had a sushi place where I'm
Catfish
from.
sushi.
It was catfish. I don't think it was catfish sushi. Catfish fried. It was normally fried.
Fried catfish is
Yeah.
awesome, especially
Yeah.
like pan fried. Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah, that was one of their. It was one of the big things down there. But no, I don't think I ever had it until then. Until I was my 30s, probably. My kids definitely have. I don't think we gave it to them at 5 though.
It was from it was the cruise thing. With,
Oh,
there's a sushi
okay.
sushi
All right,
restaurant.
so it's part
on
of the
boat.
bar.
No, it's just part of it. Yeah. So like we got the dining package. Kids under 3 or 4 or whatever at the sushi restaurant ate free, and then she got an entire like it was like 4 pieces of salmon, 4 pieces of tuna, 4 like avocado California rolls. She ate all of them.
She got down on it.
All of them. I think she was like 4 at the time.
That's
She
awesome.
crushed it. Yeah.
That's
She's
awesome.
like, "Can I have more?" I'm like, "Sure, here you go, eat your sisters."
That's better than chicken nuggets and French fries. That's for sure.
way better. Way better.
Are you kids picky eaters?
Depends. They can be.
Was one of our neighbor kids came over at one point for Jack's birthday, and I never will forget. We had this box of like mini cookies, and it was out on the table, and we were letting the kids, take whatever they wanted. There was food, pizza or whatever we were serving the kids, and I noticed at one point this kid kept reaching in this cookie jar, basket, or whatever. And I said to him at one point, and I'm not one to pick on somebody for what they're choosing, but I said to him, I was like, you need to get a plate? You need a couple more cookies? He's like, oh, I already had 20.
Oh, jeez.
And when I talked to their parents at one point, they're like, yeah, he pretty much eats chicken nuggets and French fries and sweets. And that's about it.
That wouldn't fly.
Yeah, I don't think our kids had been picky at certain points. Our son went through a period of time where he was doing we had what we called second dinner. We would make dinner for everybody, and he wouldn't eat it.
Yep.
And then he would ask us to make something else. And we did it for a little while, which was not the smartest move.
Not advisable.
It was not advisable. And then we found that the kid loves ice cream probably more than anything. So in order to get the ice cream, he had to eat the dinner.
For sure.
So he'll eat some of the stuff, even if he doesn't like it. But
Yeah.
we kind of got past that. Now we go to restaurants still. I still see a lot of chicken nuggets or, that kind of stuff.
The problem is like the kids' menus aren't really diverse. But
No.
look at those, like I've made a steak before, and they're like, "I want steak." I'm like, "This is for me," and it's like a nice one from like Snake River Farms. Like, fine, I'll give you a bite of the steak. The rest is for me, and they keep screaming for more. So.
It's funny you say that. My dad was a lawyer, and sometimes he would work late, and he would come home. We would have already eaten by this point, and he had this giant deep freezer. And I remember one year they bought like a quarter of a cow, and so they had it full of steaks.
Yeah.
And so he'd come home late after working, and I say late, it's 8, 9 o'clock, whatever. And he would grill a steak, and he'd come, he'd sit down, he starts cutting it, and he's watching TV or something, and I'd come sit right next to him. It smells good.
But it tastes good too.
And I'd wait. Do you want a bite? Oh, can I have a bite? Yeah. I think probably ate half his steak a lot of times. That's what dads do, though, right?
Of course, got to sacrifice for the kiddos. Plus, it could be worse things that they could eat.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm never mad about it.
Yeah. I think it's those kinds of memories that, I remember very clearly from my dad. So that obviously was something that was, one of those little things parents do.
Now we've gotten to the morning routines, to the evening dinner routines. The main point is whatever works for them is great, but we'll try not to try not to shame too many dads who need the extra hour of sleep in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is that everyone has a different thing going on at home. And we all go through seasons. One of the biggest words that I've started using in the past couple of years is evolution, whether it's evolution of business or personal life at home.
For sure.
My wife just switched jobs. Literally yesterday was her first day on the new job. And our routines are starting to change a little bit. And, even if you have a morning routine, sometimes you just can't follow it.
Nope.
So you have to be able to adapt. I think probably for me, the biggest point to always remember is try to have the morning routine, try to find a way to make it work. and prioritize the stuff that is important to you.
For sure. Agreed.
And then you're ready for it to all fall apart.
Yeah, it's just a constant evolution of seasons.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So let's jump into Quill's corner. Dr. Quill?
Yes, sir. So our health tip of the day is, this morning I was working out, doing some weights. I listened to a lot of podcasts. One of them is it's called some podcast. And there's a guest on there. He's a doctor of exercising. Mike is Istritol. But you look at him, he's a big meathead, but the dude's a doctor. He looks like I've considered him the Rain Man of weightlifting.
I'm sure when he listens to his podcast and he hears that he's
gonna love it.
Dr. Meathead.
He's gonna love it. Oh, he knows. According to when he's on his podcast, it's hilarious.
Is it?
He talks about it all the time. He looks like Predator, without the dreads and
Really?
without the helmet. Like that's how thick his skull is. But either way, so one of the podcasts he was talking on was not recovery, was how to get the most out of your workouts. So after weightlifting, there's a lot of talk on there, like time under tension. Do you want to do heavy weight versus lightweight, and like heavy weight with few reps, like 6 to 8 reps, 5 to 6 reps? Do you want to do heavy weight or lighter weights for like set to 30 to 20? Or the long answer is it just depends. Or the short answer is it just depends. But he said the most benefit you get on a workout when you're doing weightlifting and is a pause at the bottom of the movement when the muscle's the most stretched. So I used to do workouts where I would do kind of like a quick contraction, hold it at the top, like the peak contraction in the muscle, and then slowly lower it down and then bring it back up. What he was saying is I should be doing the opposite. I should be pausing with the muscle all the way at the most lengthened position when it's at its most weakest and most compromised to get the most benefit out of that exercise. So like I was doing chest flies today, right? So you bring your arms back behind your shoulders, your pec muscle stretches out as long as it's possible, and then you bring those arms all the way back to the middle. So I used to pause where it was like my hands close together at the beginning as opposed to pausing at the end. What happened? They don't really know why, but when he was talking about it, I was like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense because when you're working out, you're shredding the muscle fibers, you're making it weaker. The lengthened position on a muscle is the most compromised, the weakest position there. It's like with poor posture, head forward, rounded shoulders. That's why you tend to get a lot of pain between the shoulder blades and the neck when you're sitting at a desk all day.
So by comparison, if we're talking about like doing curls, we're talking about when you just started to raise it?
At the very bottom of the raise, yep. You want to keep the muscle contracted, but that should be the most stretched out in the muscle. That'll be the hardest part to get the muscle moving. But yeah, you want to be at that point. You pause there for a second or two, then you bring it up and then bring it back down slowly. That pause at the bottom with the muscle at the most lengthened is where you'll get the most bang for your buck, as opposed to pausing at the top where it's most contracted.
What if we're talking about like squats? Is that when you're all the way deep in the squat?
Bottom, yeah, if you pause at the bottom.
Right, when you're getting ready to come back
your
up.
quads and your glutes are going to be the most lengthened, the most compromised. That's the hardest part of the position. If you pause there, the good thing with squats too is you can do that like at the box or a pause squat. That's been kind of established for a while. It's kind of nice. That's where it breaks up that, because there's an elasticity in the muscle as you lengthen it. It's kind of almost like pulling a bow back, and then you can't bounce at the bottom of a squat or a movement and kind of explode out of the hole. You don't want to do that all the time, but if you kind of train for it, and you can use some of the elasticity in the muscle to help you get out of the hole there. But if you pause, that breaks up that cycle, that you lose that elasticity, and then you'll get more benefit out of your workout.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I felt a crazy difference this morning when I tried it.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've read different pieces on from time to time, and I'm sure you know more about than I do, the difference between, for instance, lifting heavy and gaining strength opposed to visible muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And
so that's where where he was explaining on that exercise, because the podcast he did like a 3-part series. It was about nutrition, recovery, and then muscle growth. So the one we talk about muscle growth, that's where like the biggest debate is. Like if you're trying for muscle growth, like yes, it's just size in the muscle, you could do either one. As long as you're going to failure of some sort, you're going to be increasing your muscle mass.
And when you're talking about failure, for people that don't do this all the time, we're talking about doing enough reps where you can't do another one?
You can't do another one. And that whether that's full reps or partials, it's an interesting concept on that one. But even if you do if you do like 10 good reps on bench press, right, and then you need someone to come in and spot you for the remaining couple to where they're maybe lifting off 90, like you're at that 11th rep, they're maybe taking 10% of the bar off.
Yeah.
But you can still push. So then the 12th rep, maybe they're taking off 80% of the bar, or the 20% of the bar, and you're pushing 80. So until you can get that tank down to 0, you're not truly going to failure. The difficulty with that one is most people are not going to train that intensely because it's difficult to do. So that's where they go crazy on that one.
Right. Right. Well, good advice.
Yep.
Solid advice.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So let's land this plane and take some key takeaways and recap them here.
Definitely. All right. So big one, build a morning routine that serves your energy and your family so that you don't have to make all the decisions.
Prepping the night before, if you're willing to do it, is a bit of a cheat code, can save you time, effort, and a lot of hassle.
Yeah. And you don't need that 90 to 120 minute miracle morning with all the meditation and all the things. It's just something that has to be intentional, plan it out, have a goal, make sure it works for everyone for the most times. It's never going to work 100% of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Flexibility is reality. That's what wins. And for us dads that are doing deals and lifting the dumbbells and all the things that we're trying to do to be good humans and parents and so forth, you got to do what works, ditch what doesn't, and be prepared to evolve. So that is a wrap on episode number 2 of Dad's Deals and Dumbbells. If you laughed, if you learned, if you feel a little less alone in the chaos,
make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and shoot us a message on Instagram or an email. We want you, your dad, or any of your dad hacks too.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Now you can go crush the rest of the morning or survive it, whatever the day brings.
Lift something heavy, hug your kids, and get after it.
Good. I forgot to start the timer at the very start, but once I started about 4 or 5 minutes in, it was 26 minutes, so 30 minutes or less is what